Last year, I made a video covering some of the greatest duos of all time, in celebration of seeing two legendary pairs mash simultaneously during the 2023 season, something we hadn't seen in over 40 years. Little did we know that a year later, we would all be witnesses to the greatest duo in MLB history. Folks, I present to you Aaron Judge and Juan Soto.
I'll step with beats that transform the beast, organized like I'm making Rio for the rise. What's in the people's hands? Big up the fans who keep the music live. I'm confused by the job, but I'm confused by the live. Music in the key of life. We honor those before us. Seeking and going.
Soto swinging, Soto launching. Goodbye!
Sample is
A
soul inscribed.
three-run shot.
Here's Juan Soto. Sample is soul inscribed. Sample is soul inscribed.
Right center and deep. They're waiting for it in the seats. All the way back to the wall, and it's gone. With a two-run homer here at Fenway. And the Yankees beat. Swing and a blast. Deep left field. This one's headed for Matt Pike. It is long gone. Out of the ballpark. And the Yankees hit back-to-back home runs in the first inning. Back-to-back home runs by Soto and Judge.
October has come, which I don't know about you all, but this is the best month of the year. Some reasons being that we have the MLB postseason, NFL is in full swing, and your favorite artist is probably on tour. All of these have one thing in common, and that is you can go to any of these events in person using today's sponsor, SeatGeek. SeatGeek is a ticketing app that sets tickets and their prices on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know when you're getting the best deal on them. As if you need more to sweeten the pot, you can use code NOMOREFIELDERS10 for 10% off any SeatGeek order, even if it's not your first purchase on the app. When I found out that my Braves were eliminated from the postseason, I was pretty devastated. But then I saw my favorite band from high school was going on tour in March, and was excited to find that plenty of tickets were still available on SeatGeek. I also found affordable tickets for Falcons games, a team I suddenly root for now. So take out the SeatGeek app, use code NOMOREFIELDERS10 to get 10% off your next order. Do it now, as this offer is only available for a limited time. If he didn't do it after hitting 62 homers in the 2022 season, if putting up almost 5 wins above replacement and 65% of a full season didn't do it for you in 2023, there should be no doubt in your mind that Aaron Judge has overtaken the mantle as the greatest player in baseball right now after putting up not only the best season of his career, but one of the greatest seasons of all time. When Aaron Judge burst onto the scene in 2017, the Yankees knew they needed to give him a partner worthy of his courtship. After all, this is the same franchise that has not only fostered 4 different potent duos, but arguably had the greatest duo of all time and their runner-up. The Yankees' storied identity has revolved around hosting 2 lineup anchors whose weight more than doubles that of the ship. The first contestant was Giancarlo Stanton, and what a big swing it felt like for the Yankees to acquire the 2017 NL MVP to pair with who many thought should have been that year's AL MVP. Acquired for a relative pittance, the Giancarlo Stanton trade felt like a return to form for the Yankees after visiting the Pied Piper for their previous egregious offseason flaunt back in 2009. This was the first time ever the previous season's 2 home run kings would put on the same uniform, and all the rest of the league could do was cower in fear. It didn't really work out. In 2018, Giancarlo had one of the worst seasons of his career. Now this is Giancarlo Stanton we're talking about, so it was still good. But that K rate he seemed to tame ballooned up to the highest it's been since his rookie season. And every stat he seemed to jump over quickly fell back to earth. It really felt like he was pressing at times. His clutch stat, which is a number I really don't like using, but feels necessary to point out here, was the worst of his career. What was especially damning was how poorly he performed at home. On the road that year, it was business as usual, but at home, Giancarlo resembled something more of an ARB1 overperformer than the superstar he was billed to be. The pressure seemed to be too much. Also don't know where else I'm going to shoehorn this information in the video, but the other day, my brother pointed out to me that Giancarlo Stanton is named after Giancarlo Esposito, who famously played Gus Fring in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. I just thought that was pretty cool. It didn't help that a stray pitch in July knocked Aaron Judge out for a month and a half. Overall, not a great first season in finding the next great Yankees duo. But there was one small hope. even if most Yankees fans didn't realize it at the time. They played the Nationals that season on May 15th. The game was suspended due to rain and a dead heat tie in the bottom of the 6th. When it was resumed 34 days later, it was quickly untied by a player who was 12 years old when Giancarlo Stanton made his debut.
Drill deep to right. There it goes. See ya. Oh, what a home run.
When he was signed for $1.5 million by the Washington Nationals in 2015, Juan Soto had secured the highest signing bonus the franchise had ever given to a Latin amateur. Within a year, he made that record-setting lump of cash look like a steal. There was just no level that fazed him. He had only played 122 games in the minors and 8 games above A-ball when the Nationals felt he was ready for his final conquest. All he did in response was put up the best offensive season for a teenager ever. There is such a thing as being a special player. Then there is being Juan freaking Soto. Soto would go on to decimate the league for the next few seasons with the Nationals, winning a World Series in 2019, becoming the youngest player to post an on-base percentage above .460 in a full season since a guy named Joe Kelly did it before the discovery of air conditioning, and tying Hall of Famer Frank Robinson and future Hall of Famer Mike Trout for most homers before turning 23 years old. The Yankees and Nationals met again in May during the 2021 season. At this point, the hopes of Giancarlo Stanton matching Aaron Judge in order to channel the likes of the Babe and Iron Horse, or A-Rod and Giambi, had largely vanished. However, they gave us a glimpse of what could have been when they combined for the most weighted runs created since becoming teammates. But it was only good enough to tie for 5th in the entire league, and 3rd in their own division. 2022 saw Aaron Judge's performance go into the stratosphere, but his supporting cast left a lot to be desired. And after missing the postseason entirely in 2023, it was clear that having only one Bronx bomber was not enough. Juan Soto bounced to the Padres during the 2022 trade deadline amidst the Nationals' post-World Series teardown, where his numbers fell well below the lofty standards he had built for himself. Of course, because it's Juan freaking Soto, he still posted what would have been a career year for most players, but the point stands. After missing the playoffs themselves in 2023, it was clear to the Padres that they needed to reshape the build of their roster. There are matches made in heaven. Then there is the Juan Soto Yankees trade.
That had been rumored for about 24 hours, kind of very on the last like 5-6 hours where we thought it was in physical review, is complete. Juan Soto has been traded to the Yankees.
I'm not even a Yankee fan. I'm excited to see what that lineup can do, because that lineup has the possibility, the potential to be one of the best lineups in all of baseball.
Expectation, though, is that will not happen. That Juan Soto, the 3-time All-Star, arguably one of the best hitters in the major leagues, is going to be a New York Yankee at the end of the day.
As we saw with Giancarlo Stanton, the weight of putting on those pinstripes bears too much for some, even absolute juggernauts. But as Juan Soto has proven time and time again, nothing can or will faze him. The stage was set to begin the 2024 season, a 4-game series against the Astros at Minute Maid Park, which had been a house of horrors for the Yankees over the past 7 years, as they've seen their dreams crushed in the stadium time and time again. None of this meant anything to Juan Soto.
Lined into right field, it is a base hit. 1 run scores.
And Soto goes the other way for a base hit. Or he can take ball 4 and do it that way. Montero walks in a run.
And the pitch hit in the air down the left field line toward the wall. It's gone! It went over the high wall. Juan Soto's first home run as a Yankee. He's wonderful, marvelous. And the Yankees have now taken a 4-3 lead.
In terms of WPA, nobody besides Mookie Betts had a better weekend to start their season. Only Shohei Ohtani had a higher OPS in his first month with a new team. Juan Soto was up to the task, and thank God, because the man he was brought in to support was mired in a slump to start the season. Aaron Judge, who's only OPS'd under 750 in a month span 38 times, and that's including overlap, since his first full season, woke up on May 3rd with a 725 OPS. He would wake up on the morning of June 1st with the highest OPS in the league. In all of Major League history, only 8 players put up a higher OPS in the month of May. You look at the players ahead of him, none of them had to battle back from the kind of start Aaron Judge had. Uncoincidentally, the Yankees had one of their best Mays in franchise history. Finally, Yankees fans could get a glimpse of their two-man wrecking crew live at work, such as on May 8th, when the Astros, still seeking their first win in their 6th game against them, were laid to waste when Juan Soto and Aaron Judge went a combined 6 for 10 with 2 homers and 8 RBI. Or 2 weeks later, when Bryce Miller, someone who will receive Cy Young votes, came to town only for the second Bronx Bombers reboot to go scorched earth on him by going a combined 3 for 7 with 2 homers, 4 runs scored, and 5 runs driven in. Or you know that one time that Juan Soto was intentionally walked, and Aaron Judge immediately hit his 300th career home run afterwards. No matter the ups and downs of the Yankees season, and trust me, there were plenty, no matter the injuries their roster faced or the ineffectiveness they experienced from rookies to veterans, Aaron Judge and Juan Soto became inevitable. Juan Soto, with everything mentioned earlier already under his belt, finished with his highest WRC plus in a full season and most wins above replacement, whether it's Fangraphs or Baseball Reference you are looking to for guidance. He did this by combining the selectively aggressive approach from his youth with the strength he's built up as he's gotten older. So even though his whiff and chase rates have gone up from his time with the Padres, he's somehow been even more confident on the pitches he swings at down the middle. This is very scary for the rest of the league. It's also how he was able to put up a career best ex-Wobicon for a full season. Basically, he did the most damage on balls he made contact with. What's funny in Soto's case is that he actually saw the least amount of pitches in the zone since 2019, which isn't necessarily surprising considering he had Manny Machado backing him up for the majority of his time in San Diego. But Aaron Judge is on a different level offensively. Aaron Judge is someone who had little to improve on. It's like trying to raise your 4.0 GPA, yet he still found a way to do it. He reduced the percentage of pitches he chased out of the zone while increasing the amount of pitches he swung at in the zone. It's very simple. If you threw a hittable pitch to Aaron Judge, he was swinging at it and doing a lot of damage in the process. All jokes about him only hitting meatballs aside, because that's kind of what good hitters do. Aaron Judge had the best slugging percentage on pitches down the middle in 2024. In fact, he had the highest slugging percentage on pitches down the middle since 2008. That's just how baseball works. Every plate appearance is a chess match, and for a hitter like Judge, pummeling a fastball down the middle is like taking advantage of an opponent exposing their king. You know who else sees hitting that way? Juan freaking Soto. So how does this make Juan Soto and Aaron Judge the greatest duo in MLB history? Let's first break down how vital they were to their offense as a whole. Here is every team sorted by the amount of runs they scored in 2024. Yankees are pretty high up there. Do you want to have your mind blown? I think you do. Let's do it. These are the percentage of those runs that were created by their top 2 hitters. Almost 40% of the Yankees' runs in 2024 were created by Judge and Soto. No other team comes even close to leaning on their best 2 hitters the way the Yankees do, and no other dynamic duo post-integration comes close to being responsible for as many runs as these two. But that tiny asterisk is the elephant in the room, and the last true obstacle in crowning Aaron Judge and Juan Soto as the greatest duo in Major League history. There are a lot of people who are critical of me separating pre- and post-integration. I'm willing to bet a lot of those same people think the Civil War was about states' rights. But if you will, I want to make one final argument about why it's important to distinguish and even separate these 2 different periods. And the argument is simple. The barrier for entry was lower. And that works for both pitching and hitting. And I know it's been pointed out that using 1947 is an easy and sometimes an authentic way to divide these 2 periods, as only 3 teams integrated that year. But you have to draw the line somewhere, and 1947 is the most agreed upon divider. If you want to use 1961 as the demarcator, aka the start of the expansion era, then be my guest. A commonly told joke is that Babe Ruth was playing against carpenters and plumbers, which is only half true. He was also playing with carpenters and plumbers. But that does work both ways. Let's put it this way. Assuming that the league average OPS would go up, as some of the players at the bottom of the talent pool would be shored up by some of the best black players in the world, and Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth's numbers would go down as a result of not being able to beat up on pitchers whose stuff would probably flame out in A-ball if they were around today, it's fair to assume that their league average OPS would go down as a result. By how much, I really couldn't tell you. Again, this is a thought exercise, one that's admittedly built on sticks and needles. There's also an argument to be made that only 16 major league teams were around during their reign, which means there were less roster spots to fill. But I also believe separating these two periods just gives us a fresh slate. And let's be honest here, in a sport where we value statistics way more than any other sport, isn't it kind of boring that all of these records were set in a time before any of us were born, and when a sizable chunk of players couldn't play in the game's perceived highest league based on something so arbitrary such as the color of their skin? So yes, I'm declaring Aaron Judge and Juan Soto as the greatest duo in MLB history, with an asterisk attached. Would this even be baseball without that asterisk? I don't think so, and that's why I love this stupid sport. I mean, we can't even fully agree on who holds the most cherished and celebrated record this game has to offer. So I'll allow disagreement here because that's what makes this game great. But doesn't it just feel good to say that you were able to witness the greatest 1-2 punch in MLB history? Even the biggest skeptics can't deny that. Anyway, like this video, subscribe to the channel, thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring, and I will see y'all next time.